The surge in sovereign yields, the difficult negotiation on the Greek case, these are the two topics currently in the eurozone. Hello and welcome to this new issue of Eco TV Week. There are two topics at the center of attention in the eurozone currently. The first is the surge in sovereign yields, and the second is the Greek case. Regarding the bond markets, there was a first strong increase in long-term interest rates in late April. At that time, the 10-year interest rate on the German bond increased by 50 basis points in a couple of days, followed then by other increase in the other eurozone debt markets. There are several ways to explain this rise in long-term interest rates. One explanation is the improvements in growth and inflation outlook, as these elements are fundamental determinants of the evolution of long-term interest rates. In that sense, the rise in sovereign yields marks the success of the ECB monetary policy to normalize the situation in the eurozone. However, the extent and the rapidity of the increase also underline this technical condition, the extraordinary technical condition that can provoke this overreaction. In the latest press conference of the ECB, Mario Draghi emphasized the fact that market participants should be used to higher volatility in bond markets, as a long period of low interest rates generally comes with a big variation in asset prices. When it was questioned about how the ECB will react to this higher volatility, Mario Draghi responded that the monetary policy stance of the ECB will remain unchanged. This declaration triggered another round of massive sell-off in eurozone bond markets. The 10-year bond, which was close to 0% in mid-April, reached 1% currently, and the euro also strengthened a bit. Yet, despite this tightening of financial and monetary conditions, the ECB monetary policy remains very accommodative, which should continue to support the recovery in the eurozone. However, if the interest rates rise continue, and especially if peripheral spread increase further, we expect the ECB to react in consequence. The other main topics in the eurozone currently is obviously the Greek case. Recently, the Greek government rejected a series of propositions of reform necessary to reach a deal with creditors, and it also decided to bunch all the payments it has to do to the IMF in June at the end of the month, which is precisely the deadline at which Greek and its creditor might find a deal, an agreement. The coming weeks of negotiation thus promise to be very tense. The Greek government needs to obtain the release of official funds to meet its commitments, that is to say, to repay the IMF at the end of June, and also later in this summer to repay the ECB. All or much will depend on the capabilities of Mr. Tsipras to gather sufficient support in his own party to vote the reform he has promised to reject during the election campaign. In this regard, we can expect that the vote of this reform could be made on the condition of support from opposition party, and in that case, it should weaken the government in the long run. As for next week events, the focus will be in the eurozone on the publication of inflation data for May, and in the US on the FOMC rate decisions. That's all for this week. Thanks for your attention, and see you next week for your 2 minutes of economy.
BNP Paribas, la banque d'un monde qui change.